From the director of The Greatest Showman comes Robbie Williams' fantastical, epic biopic, Better Man. And I first saw this movie and thought, holy shit, this is so good, and not a lot of people are gonna give it the credit it deserves. But I was amazingly and thankfully wrong, because I think everyone who's seen this movie pretty much unanimously agrees this thing fucking rules. It's a shame it's not doing so well at the box office, but I'm just so happy to have the film nonetheless, and I'm so excited to talk about it. Hey everyone, my name is Tom. I hope you like my monkey ears. I'm a lover of all things movies, and of course Better Man is now out worldwide, everywhere. I saw this movie back in October before there was even a poster released for the film, so I wasn't too sure what to actually expect from it, but I was excited because it's Robbie Williams. I'm a big fan of him. I love Take That. It's from the director of The Greatest Showman, Michael Gracey, who's now also going to be doing the live action version of Tangled for Disney. So it had a lot going for it. I walked in optimistic and I walked out completely blown away. This movie is nothing short of incredible. It deserves every bit of praise it's getting, every bit of awards buzz it's being given, and more. I've seen it once, I've seen it twice, I've seen it 3 times, I've seen it 4 times, and screw it, I'm going to end up seeing it 5 times at least in cinemas. Let's dive into it. Now, before I climax about everything I love about this movie, I just want to say, no, Better Man is not a perfect movie, but after seeing it so many times, I am going to say the very rare thing I ever do say about movies, and that is that I think it is as perfect as one could genuinely hope. Now, some of the flaws, some of the nitpicks here and there that I see people bring up, and that I do agree with to some aspect, is that yes, it does follow some of the very stereotypical beats of a biopic, especially ones we've come to realize in recent years, where there's always that fall from grace and then the rise to reclaiming it. Better Man is no different, and that is very much the story it follows. But how it follows it, I'd argue, is actually better than we've ever seen before. It is so open, so crude, so raw, and so unapologetically itself and honest in how it does it and how it goes about doing it, and the demons that are a part of Robbie's story. I think it's just wonderful, and I think it totally works, again, more than we've ever seen it work before. And one of the reasons I think that is because Better Man, unlike some of the other biopics that I won't mention, doesn't actually place the blame on any one particular person. It doesn't try and sugarcoat Robbie's life or his actions. It actually says he's quite a dick as well, and he's made a lot of mistakes. He's narcissistic, he's got daddy issues, and he doesn't really think of himself as a very good singer. He just thinks he got lucky and is a great performer. Now, it does point out some of the demons in his life, but it doesn't throw them under the bus without throwing him under the bus as well. Some of those things include his former management, Nigel Martin Smith, his very public fallout with Gary Barlow, his insanely public substance abuse with drugs and alcohol, and a few other things here and there, like his very turbulent relationship with his dad. But the biggest demon of all, which the movie makes very clear, isn't actually any of those people. They are just sort of vehicles towards it. It's actually Robbie Williams himself. It's his mental state, it's his anxiety, it's his self-doubt, it's his ego problem. It's all of these things that he has going on inside his head. At the end of the day, the biggest demon to his life has always been him, and he's fully honest about that. And the movie takes such a stride about how open, honest, and brash it is about all of these things going on in his life, that I think Better Man, you don't only end up connecting to Robbie's story, but you really relate to the human factor of it, which is his resilience and strength in such dark times. Now, to address the overarching elephant, or in this case, chimpanzee in the room, yes, he is a monkey, and yes, it is totally awesome and it works incredibly well. It totally rocks and elevates the movie beyond others in its genre. And to be honest, after a few minutes, you also just don't really think too much about the fact he's a monkey and nobody else is, because the movie doesn't make a big deal of it itself. It addresses it in a throwaway line, and then it moves on and focuses on its story. I see so many people crying about this being such a gimmick to the film, but if you actually see the film, it's really not. It's just a part of its story. It's a part of how, in the music industry, certain performers are treated like a monkey in a circus. And it's the fact Robbie Williams caught fame at such a young age, at just 15, that he feels like that's where he stopped aging. That's where his life stopped progressing in a mental capacity. He's just always felt 15 now in his head. It's like his life literally paused at that age, which meant he feels unevolved. Now, behind the motion capture and voice performance of Robbie in Better Man is Jonno Davies, who does an incredible job at not only allowing his performance to be retained and shine through the outward chimp appearance, but also at capturing Robbie's swagger, his physicality, his mannerisms and emotions across the movie, and a heavy applause needs to be given to him, but also with him towards Carter J. Murphy, who adorably portrays younger Robbie in the earlier stages of the film and delivers an amazing cover of one of his songs, Feel, during one of the movie's most tender moments. Another thing both Carter and Jonno Davies do so early on in the movie is really connect you to Robbie's relationship with his nan, played by Alison Steadman. It becomes such an emotional anchor point in the story and really hits its climax in the angel scene, which if you've seen, you'll know what I mean. Now, other cast members of the film include Steve Pemberton, tackling Peter Conway, who's Robbie's dad, and their very rocky relationship. As well as that, you have Rochelle Bano, who portrays All Saints' Nicola Appleton, whose character and real-life self dealt with Robbie's downward spiral and the tragic aftermath of an abortion that she was pressured into by management. Rochelle does a very commendable job in the role, and especially at executing some of the tougher scenes that come her way, to where even at times when you can't physically hear the dialogue, you can feel the intention of the scene and the emotional aspect of it. And now, for obvious reasons, you can't do a Robbie Williams biopic without mentioning Take That, and they are very prominent in the film, more prominent than I actually thought or expected, but my lord, they handled it amazingly, because every single casting choice they made for Take That, for their Gary Barlow, their Jason Howard, their Mark Owen, and their Jason Orange, they handled it amazingly. They all feel literally one-to-one with who they are meant to be representing. They not only feel it on screen, but they look it as well. And I actually got to speak with director Michael Gracey about this, and he totally agreed with me and expanded on it further by basically saying the casting department and the whole movie crew got really lucky with the fact they found these guys to take on those roles. And on the topic of Take That, and I have mentioned him just a touch, I do want to give large credit to Damon Herriman, who brings Nigel Martin Smith to the movie in such a great way. You'll leave hating so many of his actions and effects that the man has historically had on Robbie Williams' life, both in and after his time in Take That. And to begin wrapping up the cast and talk, Fraser Hadfield plays Nate, one of Robbie's on-screen friends, and brings a nice level of humbleness to some of the movie's more emotional and journey-focused scenes. The movie also tackles, or rather pokes fun at, Robbie's infamous beef with Oasis's Liam and Noel Gallagher. And I won't go too much into it more than that, but let me just say, it was amazing, and it really added just a nice touch to the movie's very British, though effective, humour. Now, you can't talk about Better Man without talking about the musical numbers in this film, because my goodness, they are some of the best musical aspects of a movie, of a musical I have seen in years, maybe ever. And truth be told, I can't pick my favourite one, because every single one in its respective moment is from top to bottom, left to right, done so damn well. You've got Rock DJ, She's the One, Feel, Angels, Come Undone, Better Man, My Way, just overall, Relight My Fire would Take That, just overall, every single one I am addicted to, and it has all been living rent-free in my head and my playlists for months on end, and I just don't see it stopping anytime soon. From the blocking, to the camera work, to the choreography, to the colours, the vibrancy, the electric energy just sort of injected into each and every sequence, no matter the moment, just absolutely fantastic. It deserves its praises, it deserves all the flowers in the world. The team absolutely fucking crushed it. I adore it so much, and I just never expected them to be that good. And what's more so great, you can really see how far Michael Gracey as a filmmaker has progressed since his work on The Greatest Showman, although you can still feel that Greatest Showman touch in this film, which I actually think, if anything, helps it even more. I don't wanna ride, but you're making me feel so nice. Just as a whole, this movie is so damn amazing. And I just never expected in my wildest dreams to walk out of the film, a Robbie Williams biopic, no matter how excited I was for it or not, and think, holy crap, this might be one of the best movies of the decade and one of the best musicals we have ever seen, maybe the best biopic we have ever seen. I just never expected to think that, I never expected to feel that, but I do. And I tried to shake the feeling of it. I tried to think, oh, it's just recency bias and this and that. But no, it's not. It genuinely is just how I feel. And it's genuinely just a reflection of this wonderful piece of art and storytelling that they've delivered to us in Better Man. It's riveting, it's outgoing, it's brash, it's an amazing piece on fame, an amazing tacklement on mental health, especially in the music industry, which since sadly Liam Payne's passing, I think is needed now more than ever. And I think a look into that as well is needed now more than ever, even if we know a lot more now about it than we did in the 90s and when Robbie was going through all this stuff. And he's commented himself on that as well. And I think what he said about it is totally true, fair and accurate. Just overall, this movie is so important, it's so fun, it's so emotional, the climax of it hitting my way and all this stuff, just absolutely phenomenal. I love it. If you don't know who Robbie Williams is, it doesn't even matter because you don't need to. The movie catches you up to speed in more than one way, in more than a satisfying way. You'll love it. You will just love it. I think. I hope, anyway. Most people who are watching it are raving about it, and it's so true, because god damn it, this movie is just so good. If you do watch it and you don't like it, I'll be really curious to know why. I'll respect the opinion. I'd just love to talk about that, and of course, if you do love it, I'd really like to talk about that as well. So that's all I've got to say in this video, because I could talk about this movie for just hours and hours and hours on end. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think it's a masterclass in so many different areas. I do think it's one of the best movies of the year or of last year, depending on where you are when it released in your time. I do think it's incredible in every way, and damn it, if anything, Robbie Williams's ego problems, his narcissistic problems, if anything, influenced this movie to be as great as it possibly could be, as outgoing as possibly could be, and as innovative as it possibly could be. If you haven't seen it, see it. If you have seen it, let me know what you think down below in the comments. That's all I've got to say, even though I wish I could say so much more. I would be here for literally all day, and my camera battery probably doesn't have that long left in it. And I'm going hysterical because I just love this movie so much. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll hopefully catch you in my next one. Take it easy, guys. Bye.